How very professional. TCR UK, Oulton Park, live stream, cup of coffee. Even better, Andy McEwen. Why aren't you in the comms box, Andy?
Well, you know, it's a nice day at Oulton Park. I thought I'd come out and experience some of the atmosphere out here, and yeah, glad I did. I never get to come up close to the cars just before they go on track, so yeah, any excuse to do so, I'm going to be down here.
No, that was the wrong answer. It's because I was getting a cup of coffee, to be fair. Right, OK, so qualifying coming up. We had a bit of a practice in the morning. You were having a watch of that. Anything in particular going on? I've seen a couple of cars coming in and out and few stressed faces, mate.
Yeah, although significantly fewer stressed faces than yesterday, because there were all sorts of problems in the free practice day or the test sessions yesterday. Most of them now, touchwood, seem to be sorted. Max Hart certainly spoke to him afterwards. He was much happier with the car now. Set a really good lap time on old tyres, actually, so he can go even quicker on new tyres. The one question, maybe you'll get a chance to ask him if you see him, is Bruce Winfield. Only did one lap in practice, a little bit old that, the runner-up from last year's championship, just not getting the track time today that he would have liked. Hopefully no major issues though, because he'll want to go out there and qualify well.
Yeah, I just seen Bruce actually walk past, and he never actually particularly looks massively happy, but he's smiling a lot less, isn't he? Right, before you do one, mate, and I'll get on with just speaking to a few of the drivers, who is it going to be on pole? That's a difficult one, actually, Nick, but some of these cars are actually well equipped for Oulton, aren't they?
They are, and Oulton's one of those circuits where the BOP makes a big difference, the compensation weight makes a big difference as well, so I think those who have come out on the right end of that are going to be up there. So if I had to put money on someone, I'd be looking at Chris Smiley and Isaac Smith. They were quick here on the full circuit start of the year. Those cars are pretty light, and I think they're going to be reasonably competitive today.
Right, wicked. They're all lining up, mate, in assembly area, so they always say safety in numbers, but now I'm going to get really nervous and go on my own. So on your way, Captain. I'll see you in a bit. Let's have a walk around. Thank you for that, Andy. Jack Constable is looking at me with his steely eyes. I hope I don't get run over, so you're going to have to help me, and I don't want you to see my egg in the nest on the back of my head either, so follow me. Jack Constable is. This looks set up. It actually isn't set up. Jackie, what's going on, mate? Been a very stop-start season, isn't it, so far?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a rough start, and we've had a good few results at Brands and stuff, and we're looking good for here, so we'll see.
When you say you're looking good for here, I've just been speaking to Andy McEwen. What is it that makes a car good round here? What do you need? Because it's technical, it's fast, it's slow in places. What do you need?
I think for me, more just stability in the car. If it feels safe, then I'm happy, especially around here when you go through Druids and you could end up with a big one.
Yeah. Well, people at home who are watching, a lot of them won't have driven a race car, so when you say safe, is it just fully planted, four wheels are on the, fully planted the floor, or are we talking like a little bit less front end so the car just drifts a touch? All right, mate. What's he doing?
No, I mean, slightly loose is always fast, isn't it? But yeah, just enough so you're not losing too much time when it is having a slide or the front starting to push or something like that. You just need it just to be fairly safe.
Are you happy enough with how it's gone this year, or are you coming into this thinking my season starts now?
Yeah, probably my season starts now, in all honesty. I feel like we've got the gremlins out of the car. I'm feeling happy with everything that we've done so far. We've done a few days testing. I feel really confident.
Talking about gremlins, I'll leave you with him. Let's crack on. Just have a look at his full-on gremlin.
Leave my caveman out of it.
I'm not even going to say anything. I'm only joking. You're always lovely to us, and I am sorry for that.
You're all right. You're very welcome.
He's going to do me, isn't he? Yeah. We wait till later. Remember, hey, this is my tarmac, mate. I've got friends out there, so don't you worry. Have a good race, guys. Have a cracker. Right, OK. Callum Newsham. Actually, Dave Newsham. Where's Callum gone, mate?
He's gone for a wee-wee.
We're live, by the way. You can't say that. You have to say
wee-wee.
You have to begin it with. You have to be in it with P. No, I'm joking. Right. You don't. We spoke to you on the grid walk last time. Very professional with my cup of coffee. He's looking good, the boy. He's looking good, mate. Not just the driving side of things, just how he operates, how he comes across. I actually think he's fantastic, mate. He's a good boy.
Oh, he is. Yeah, it's good to hear that. So yeah, he's handling it really well and just loves these cars. And yeah, I'm proud of him.
What makes it so? When you jump into a car, sometimes you get pigeonholed into how the car drives. Maybe like other cars that you've driven before in other championships. But you can mess around with these and get them to how you want them, can't you? And you've won British touring car races. You know the deal.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as he jumped in this, he just came back with a massive smile on his face. It was a fairly safe setup, and we just tried to go more and more radical with it. Obviously, the livelier they are, the faster they are, these cars, aren't they? So and he just keeps, we just keep giving him more, and he keeps getting faster. So yeah.
Top man. Well, listen, when he comes back from having his wee-wee, tell him I want to have a word with him. I might catch him later on, hopefully on the podium.
That'll be awesome. Yeah.
Top man. Nice one, Dave. Dave Newsham. Very much a fantastic touring car winner. I beat him a few times, to be fair, but he is good. Right, OK, Matt Wilson has just ran off, and I can see him over here. Follow me. So this is Matty Wilson's car. This is one of the newer touring cars in TCR UK. Just make sure you don't get across anybody. Have a quick look in here. If you've never seen inside a TCR UK car, they do have a lot of buttons and switches, and they've got all sorts going on. You can see on the steering wheel, everything now is electronic. Launch control, they've got all sorts of buttons for radio and full course yellow. A lot of buttons on there they won't use, and that's because they use these cars as well in endurance race series. Right, they're crossing the tyres. You're okay, so follow me. I'm just going to interrupt if he's okay with it. He's probably slagging off some other drivers. This is live. Sorry, gentlemen. I'm really, really sorry. Matty Wilson, you've gone into full pro mode. Oh, I better cross my hands. I'm here with my coffee. I'm caught up with you, fella. Beautiful brand new car, everything's looking good, team are good, everything's sweet?
Yeah, everything's going really well, and this weekend the car feels better than ever, same as myself. We've had some really good times over the last earlier free practice and testing, so it's looking good, and we're getting there with the grips, trying to get out of the old car into this one really.
Should we tell everybody at home what happened at Brands Hatch in the paddock and my road car?
I only found out later, but I heard your car got hit by someone.
Yeah, so my road car got reversed into by your race truck, and who was driving?
I think that was our team boss.
And what's his name?
That's Nick Beaumont.
Nice one. So Matt is just proper pro Nick. I thought you were struggling with that one. So this is Nick here. Looks like, trying to think who you look like, someone with grey hair who isn't really good looking. George Clooney. I don't dye my hair. You look like George Clooney, who's had a terrible day. Yeah, so we've just told the world, mate, about my car.
You parked it behind my truck. What do you want me to do?
It's a very good point. Anyway, it's getting fixed. We're going to do it on the sly, and we'll probably make some good money out of it, both of us. Yeah, it should be cool. Right, let's go and have a word with... oh, Brad's getting his lid on, actually. But I'm going to speak to his dad. Oh, my word. A lot of noises here. I know Brad's getting in the car.
Yes.
You're a proud man, aren't you? A proud father.
I am very much, yes.
It's good, isn't it, that Bondit have come on board? It's good that you guys are having a good season now, and it's starting to really take off, isn't it? This could be the qualifying session for you guys?
We're hoping so, yes. And we've got, as usual, we've got a lot of the Bondit people here as well, because they're very involved, the team. They love to be here, and we look after they bring a few guests along. So it's fantastic having them on board, and it makes a big difference to the running of the car. Brad's happy enough in the car because he's always happy in this car. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I know that you guys are all getting involved, getting sorted out. Right, we'll catch you in a bit. Right, okay, let's speak to Daryl Wilson's dad as well. It's all about the dads, isn't it? It's a nice family affair, and Les is absolutely not having this interview, are you, Les? Les, you've spanned for me in the past.
Yeah.
Daryl's doing a cracking job. It's always a strain because I know you guys haven't got the most money in the paddock, mate.
No, we ain't. But we're taking part. That's the thing. We take part. We have a go. That's it.
How proud are you of him? Because he's not been racing a massively long time, but when he gets on, he gets in there, and he's won races already in TCR UK, and it's not an easy championship. It's really difficult.
We love a challenge, so if we win, we lose. It's all the same. And
you sound like my football team.
Yeah, exactly. What leads?
Right, that's it. That's enough of that. That's enough of that interview. I think the guys are getting involved. I'll let you do the pressures and stuff. Who else have we got here? And what O'Neill's is getting involved. He's getting a bit of a prep talk as well. Some good stuff, actually. Do you mind? I might actually jump in and speak to Ant. Thank you for sorting that out. Ant, I know. Thank you, mate. You can tell this guy has been racing for years. I'll drop this for you. Anyone else will be like, nah, you can struggle, O'Neill. Listen, mate. It's always difficult to get on the grid and just drive a car around, but your career always seems to be the hardest of anyone's careers, mate.
Well, it's no good doing it easy, is there? No, we always knew this was going to be a difficult year. This Subaru's not done any good anywhere in the world. And like I say, we don't want to do it easy. I could jump in a Hyundai and I'm sure we'd be at the front. What's the fun in that? We want to get this little Subaru at the front. We're going to struggle in this qualifying session. the front anti-roll bar, where the link arms pick up on the bottom arms, it just snaps the tag off. So we're going to run this with no front roll bar, and then weld it up afterwards. So we're going to struggle, but we're going to give it our best shot.
So you're hoping for rain then?
That's what I said to him. We've gone up on front dampers to try and support the front a little bit, but yeah, if it rains, we're a little bit better off.
Right. You're on your way, mate. I've just heard the whistle blow. Thank you for that, guys. Thanks for helping us out. I think what we will do, if it is okay with you, Andy, and you're up there, we're going to head to the comms box, and I'll be up in a bit to talk rubbish with you, mate. See you in a minute.
So, yes, thank you very much, Paul. Martin Brundle, eat your heart out. That was a grid walk like no other, and maybe he'll have saved some of that coffee for me by the time he gets up here to the commentary box. Anyway, qualifying is about to get underway, as he quite rightly says. Cars heading out onto the circuit now, and we are ready to go with a 30-minute qualifying session then for round number 8 of the TCR UK Championship for 2022. The second half of the season then beginning here, and there are points available in qualifying as well. The top 6 qualifiers in this session will score championship points. 6 points for pole, 5 for second, 4 for third, and so on, down to 1 point for 6th place. So it takes on extra significance. It's always an important session, especially somewhere like Oulton Park, where overtaking can be tricky to do once you get into the races, but add in those qualifying points as well, and it becomes even more significant if you can get yourself towards the sharp end of the grid. Championship-wise, it is Max Hart who leads the championship coming into the weekend. And he will be looking to try and further extend that margin over Isaac Smith once we get into the races later on today. Before the cars head out onto the circuit, then we'll go to a very quick break, and we'll have all the qualifying action for round 8 of the TCR UK Championship in just a moment or two.
For voice and data solutions at speeds that are simply out of this world, choose Maximum Networks.
Qualifying for the 8th round of the TCR UK Championship for 2022 is coming up very shortly here at Oulton Park. There's a little bit of work being done to the circuit at Lodge Corner, some oil that's been spilled during the last session on track for time attack. Means that there is cement dust down there at the final corner. That's just been completed now, and that means that once the marshals are back to a position of safety, which they must be, the green flag will fly. The session then getting underway, 30 minutes of qualifying, and in these first few minutes we're not really going to be looking at the lap times because they'll be going out getting some heat heating the tyres coming in and crossing those tyres over, as we saw during the practice session earlier on. So we can expect the lap times, the quick lap times, to be coming in a few minutes into the session. Gives us a bit of time then to build up to the session here around the Oulton Park Island circuit. A really, really important qualifying session this. As I said, points available, 6 points for pole position, and it's going to be a real fight to try and get those top grid positions for race number 1 later on. Andy McEwen now joined by Paul O'Neill here in the commentary box after that very entertaining walk through the assembly area, and some interesting stuff coming from the drivers there. I think they're looking forward to getting out there and really seeing where they stack up against each other.
Yeah, exactly. You know, some drivers think they've got stronger cars than others, and some drivers like Antwater Niels who don't like to do things by half, and they disconnect their front roll bars and basically got the wrong setup on the car. Weather forecast, if it did rain, which it definitely isn't going to, Antwater Niels with a softer front end would be absolutely flying in that Subaru. But it's going to be a cracker, isn't it, mate? And I just want to say thanks to everyone actually down there who give us an interview, because I know it's the last thing they want to do before they go out of the car. And also the Kents have given me a nice cup of coffee as well, so I'm just finishing that off.
The coffee was the star of the show there, I would say, arguably. Not you or the drivers. That's what's going to get the tongues wagging online, I'm sure. Right, qualifying then is, as we said, getting underway. With the cement dust even at Druids as well. Now, Paul, you will have experienced this, I'm sure. To us, it just looks like a bit of a smoke screen and a mild distraction. But actually, that cement dust can be slippery, especially for the first few laps, can't it?
Yeah, that is in the worst point possible. Right on turning and mid to exit of Druids, but also there, you've just seen at Lodge. It's there as well, so in the worst place possible from a session before. And they're warming up the tyres, but they're not also warming up the tyres here, weaving from side to side, Andy. They're just trying to get that dust off, because it chokes the tyre. So when you were next corner you get to and you turn, the tyres are choked, and it doesn't want to put that soft Goodyear rubber down. So yeah, difficult one. This is a difficult corner down at Island Hairpin, and Brucey Winfield, who we've been speaking about, we really want him to have a fantastic weekend. Some great promises he's been in the championship last year.
Yeah, second in the championship last year, multiple race winner, and Bruce Winfield not really having the ideal start to this season, but let's hope that he can stick in a good qualifying effort in that Cupra. We've had 18 cars out on the circuit. There are 19 entered this weekend, so again, somebody a little bit late on parade, and already we've got Chris Smiley heading for the pit lane. It is these two, actually, that we're seeing going down through Hislop's, though, that we kind of expect to be among the pace setters this weekend. Max Hart in the 101 Hyundai i30, and the white and green Selco car is the championship leader. Lewis Kent, car number 1, the double reigning champion, with a bit of a wobble there out of Knickerbrook corner in the orange and black Veloster, sitting third in points coming into the weekend. And they both had very different seasons, I'd say, Paul, these two. Max Hart has been a bit win or bust, hasn't he? He was really strong the first couple of meetings. Brands Hatch had those issues with the clutch in testing, which really wrecked his weekend. Whereas Lewis has just been sort of quietly going about his business, but seems to be getting steadily better with each round.
Yeah, definitely. And as you've seen him, they're coming through Lodge, but Knickerbrook, first of all, the car had a massive wobble on. Loads of slippery surface flags for that car, but that, like you say, to do that in a car that isn't, for me, isn't the fastest car out there, be consistently in the point. He is a thinker, and he's going to get to the end of the year, and I reckon Oulton is going to be a substantial point-scoring episode for him. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how they get on in that new car. But the rest of them now come flying through, and there's the winner from last time out. Oh, no, he's off as we say that. He's off at Cascades, Lewis is.
Ah, Lewis Kent, and he's ripped the front bumper off the car as well, and that could be the end of his session. This is big drama then. The next point I was about to make is that of the championship contenders, really Lewis is the one who hasn't either made a mistake or had a big bit of bad luck. Well, that mistake has come on cold tyres in qualifying, and the Veloster is now touring around the circuit with a lot of damage to the front of the car. Now, they may be able to get a spare bumper, they may not, but even if they can, that can sometimes damage things like the splitter and things in the front end of the car, so that's going to at least need a check over here.
Oh, more than that, Andy. I know Cascade, if you go off at Cascade, and you know from commentating, when you go off at Cascade, it's like going over a load of ramps at 105 miles an hour, and that will have definitely put all the geometry out in that car. He just needs to get in the pits, check over, see if it's straight enough to drive, and then just try and get in the top 10. That is massive news, that is.
Well, okay, that is a turn up for the books. So Lewis Kent in trouble already. It's his brother Bradley who at the moment is fastest, but at 1 minute 28.6 is a good second and a half at least off what we expect the pole position time to be. Here comes the Veloster out of Druid, so it's heading down towards the last turn. What can you see, Paul? Is it tracking straight?
Well, I'd say that the dampers could have been hit so hard. It can pop valves in the dampers. That could do as so. Well, it's not even that. They're going to have to take the wings off. He's going to lose aero in the car. But that's going to be straight up on the jacks. That's a nightmare. The first thing they will ask is it driving straight? Is the steering wheel on an angle? And I'm telling you now, that steering wheel will definitely not be straight. Max Hart, on the other hand, he really needs to keep this consistent point scoring going, because this is his strongest year I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, we say he had a terrible weekend at Brands Hatch. He had 2 fifth-place finishes. It wasn't bad, and the first race was a little bit worse, but he still came out of it with the championship lead. It's a very healthy championship lead, although once you start applying drop scores, remember there are 2 dropped scores this season, his advantage of about 21 points over Isaac Smith actually becomes a 20-point advantage over Chris Smiley. Chris Smiley benefiting at the moment from the drop score system because he had a non-finish at Brands Hatch and a really poor finish in one of the races at Donington. So it's actually Hart and Smiley who realistically are the top 2 in the championship once you apply those drops. Smiley has just gone through onto his first proper flying lap, whilst Max Hart is coming through at the end of what looks like a reasonably hard push lap. He's not giving us any sector times yet because of a transponder issue, but he does set a 1:28.1 to go provisionally to the top of the times.
Yeah, and that's not too bad. I think you're going to see quicker times, but we're really looking for Chris Smiley and people like that. Oh, okay. So Alpha Live Luke, thanks for that, mate. Look at that right rear on that car. The right rear on that car was so far up in the air, it wasn't rotating actually all the way into the corner, mid, and then as it just started to get lock off on the steering wheel, it flattened itself down, and it was that tells me that he's got a lot of understeer. He's got really bad front axle in the car, so he's looking to get that car. Look at it, look how far that is off the floor. That will be so loose and nervous through the fast stuff. As he comes towards Druids now, you're going to see that car, you probably won't see it too much. Look at it, it's right on its nose. He's looking for maximum front grip. Look at that. I don't think I've seen a car for a long time have a right rear off the floor into Druids. That's 5th gear as he now comes towards Lodge, and it'll be again that right rear that we're talking about. Bit like when you see a dog having a wee in the street, if it's in there.
There we go. So Chris Smiley then, who was on pole position here at the start of the year, goes 3rd fastest now, but is immediately beaten by Brad Kent, who is the next car behind him. Brad Kent, the number 5 Hyundai, into 3rd position, but they're both trailing Brad Hutchison, who has put the blue number 17 Audi into 2nd place. Now, Brad qualified well at Donington, didn't he? He's shown good qualifying pace in the past, and we expect the Audi actually could be a bit of an underdog car here this weekend.
Yeah, I tell you what, let's stay with Chequered, because Chequered is purple in Sector 1, the 117, cracking guy, really like this lad. Doesn't have the biggest budget, but is super fast. Let's see him as he comes now down into Knickerbrook, and he's just passing Jess Hawkins there. On the brakes side, look at that car squirreling away left and right, over the curb, big time. Bit of curb on the inside as he comes to the exit now of the chicane. Takes a bit of curb if he can. I tell you what, this boy is lit. I'm desperate to see as he comes across the strike. He is going to stick this on pole. That's a purple Sector 1 and 2, using the curbs on the way into Druids. Be careful. Apex curb at Druids. That's unbelievable. Look at the speed of him. This is going to be pole by quite a bit, I think, because Max Hart at the minute has done a 27.1, so he's got to beat that. That car's got loads of oversteer in it. Apex at Lodge. Exit curb, he didn't want to go over that power pad that will delete the lap. What's it going to be for the 117, Andy? Because that is proper stuff. He's only 3/10 off. Great lap, though.
Yeah, now Max Hart's transponder isn't working, so although Chequered sectors were coming in purple, meaning faster than anybody, obviously Max Hart was going quicker, because Hart's done a 27.1. That is a good time from Max, though. We thought a low 27 was going to be pole position at the end of the session, and here we are, only 10 minutes in, less than that, in fact, and Max Hart has done a 27.1, so it's number 101 fastest from 117 second, 257 Jack Constable, who was a winner at Brands last time, is 3rd, Hutchison down to 4th and Brad Kent 5th. They're both in the pits. Then it's 6th place for the man we're watching now, Alex Lee, who hops his way over the curbs. The youngest ever winner of a TCR race, Alex Lee, now at 17 years old, got that victory at Brands Hatch last time out, and he did it from pole position. Can he get pole position again here today? This looks like a half-decent lap. Let's see what sort of improvement he can get.
Yeah, he's green, which means it's personal bests for him. So he's coming into the last sector, runs a little wide there, a lot of dust being kicked up. He lost a lot of traction, especially from the front wheels, but the rear did look a bit nervous as well. So I think he might have backed. He doesn't use all the circuit. That car looking like it's got a lot of turn-in oversteer, so as soon as the front turns, it struggles to then have the rear as stable as it can be. What is it going to be for Lee? He's not, it's saying that he's actually, I think TSL struggling with him. He's up to 4th, isn't he?
Yes, he is, yes. He's improved 3 places there. So, yeah, I think we're getting a few little transponder issues. Brad Hutchison is in the pit lane, who is down in 5th position, with Bradley Kent in 6th at the moment. So, 1 minute 27.115 still the time to beat. That's only 6/10 quicker than they managed here last year. That is quite an impressive effort, that, from Max Hart. Still Shepherd 2nd, and Constable in 3rd position. Lee then in 4th, Hutchison 5th, Brad Kent 6th, then Isaac Smith down in 7th. So Smith 7th and Smiley 8th. They are the 2 drivers who, when you spoke to me in the assembly area 15 minutes ago, Paul, I said we're going to be up there fighting for pole. What do we think? Have they just not got a good lap in yet, or is that as quick as they can go? I think maybe they put bankers in, to be fair. I think we'll see quicker stuff. We'll see quicker stuff. So the number 50, Darryl Wilson, coming through in that Opel Astra, or Vauxhall Astra as it is in the UK. Looking, that car's, I don't think that car's massively well suited to Oulton Park. It's the suspension setup on the cars, particularly Astra, it's got a beam rear suspension on it, so it's a difficult car to get through some of the tight technical corners here. It's quick enough, but it does rely on a bit of a straight line circuit, maybe like Snetterton or something like that, or Castle Coolidge, or stretch his legs. But let's see what Darryl can do anyway, because where is he? He's down in 13th at the minute, but he's gone green, yellow. Not improved in the yellow, and he's not improved again there, is he? So he might be starting the lap now. And gets beaten actually by Ant Wharton-Eales, who, despite not having that front anti-roll bar, is into 12th position now. So the Subaru is knocking on the door of the top 10, and then runs very wide Adam Oldhall. So does Adam Shepherd. So track limits very much being abused there. Alex Lee, meanwhile, well spotted, Paul, has moved into 3rd position. So Alex Lee then into 3rd place, which means it's a Hyundai i30N 123 at the moment, with Jack Constable in the Cooper 4th and Hutchison in the Audi 5th. Brucey Winfield's gone up as well, he's 6th. It has, right, so that's more like it from Bruce. So 128.1 is Bruce Winfield's effort there. No, sorry, 27.9, excuse me, with a purple in the speed trap. So the Cooper operating well in a straight line, it seems. Yeah, that soft front, well, disconnected roll bar on the front of the Subaru that we're watching, Ant Wharton-Eales. The green and white Subaru, windows fully open, very interesting. As we've just had a look at the times, Isaac Smith in the Golf is up to P4, he's gone up 4 places, so he's only just over half a second off the pole. And Wharton-Eales, who we're watching, it looks like he's backed out of that lap because he's staying left to let Jess Hawkins come through over the top. She might, oh, she's flying. She's going to come across Darryl Wilson, who's in the middle of the apexes. Druids, no, he's got on with it. She's looking lit. Let's see what Jess can do with this, because that, to me, is looking super, super fast. She's down in 14th at the minute. She's gone green. This is definitely going to put her up. Where's it going to put her up? She's won round here before, but on the different configuration. Jess comes across the strike, and it's not that good. It's only 13th. She's only found a 10th or so. She really got caught out in that last sector. Struggle, that one. Windows open as well. Yes, obviously they're feeling the heat out there, aren't they? But that has to be have an effect on the aerodynamics of the cars. But yeah, despite a personal best middle sector there, not an improvement. Max Hart there just backing off to let her go. This is a familiar sight because it was Max who chased Jess home to that win that she had here at the start of the season. Weaving the car around down the Lakeside Straight there, Paul. What's that about? I don't know whether she's done something in that last sector where maybe she's picked up a bit of rubbish on the exit of one of the corners. So yeah, a lot of cars in the pits now. As many cars as I can see in the pits, I'm thinking, is there a red flag? There isn't a red flag. I think it's just time to stick some new fronts on and send, isn't it? Well, we're halfway through the session now, or we will be in a moment or two, nearly 15 minutes gone. So yeah, this is the mid-session interval almost when they come in and yeah, stick that second set of tyres on the car and go for it again. So it's a good opportunity, whilst there aren't that many improvements coming in, to run you down the order. Although having said that, Paul noticing that JB Tonks is improving in the first sector and in the second. So okay, let's get Tonks across the line first. first then, because Jamie Tonks, it is Jamie, isn't it? Yes, who's improving from 11th place at the moment in the area motorsport with Fast R Cupra. And let's see, he said he was sort of aiming to be somewhere towards the back of the top 10 if possible. That will put him in a good position for the races. And the Cupra is about to burst over Deer Leap. In comes his teammate Jess Hawkins to the pit lane. And one of the next cars through should be Bruce Winfield. Brad Kent leading him around the track, actually. So through will come, sorry, not Bruce Winfield, through will come Jamie Tonks, who was 11th and stays 11th, confusingly there, despite improving in all 3 sectors. No actual improvement in position. He moves out, misses out on the top 10 there, Paul, by 2/100ths of a second.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more, to be honest, but yeah, the car's starting to just go out on their warm-up laps, get that front axle, those 2 new front tyres that are going on the cars, get them up to temperature. It's a real funny feeling when you put 2 brand new front tyres on a car. Completely stone cold. You've got hot rears usually, and those hot rears, what they want the car to do when you turn is the rears push the front. So you turn the steering wheel, you've got no grip at the front. The rears have got so much grip, you nearly go off at the first corner. So that's something to really learn about in front-wheel drive touring cars if you've never driven a touring car before. So nice little shot that is. We go down to Avenue. This is through Cascades. Callum Newsham, good kid. He's doing a good job, and his dad Dave, who I spoke to, we're really proud of him. And they're just nice people, mate.
No, they are. They really are. And Callum has been getting better as the year's gone on, actually. He's had 2 podium finishes, which isn't bad for someone in his first season of racing at this level. And Callum Newsham, currently in this qualifying session, is sat 12th place. So he'd like to be a bit further up than that in the Norscott Cupra, which makes its way over Hilltop. He's being followed by the pink and white Hyundai of Scott Sumpton, who I noticed having an overrun at the Island Hairpin a few laps ago. Right, as people are getting up to speed, I will now have another crack at giving you the top 10 at least in the session. It is number 101, Max Hart, who is fastest right now with 127.115. As across the line goes Chris Smiley, just to immediately distract me. And Chris Smiley stays in 6th, but does improve his time, albeit stays in 6th. I also noticed, I will get to this top 10 in a moment, Lewis Kent is back out there with a new front bumper, so they've got the Veloster sorted, and he's got the second half of the session now to try and improve on 19th and last, Paul.
Well, we'll give it a go, eh? But yeah, everyone's just starting to wind up now, so let's have your top 10, man.
Yes, for the benefit mainly of those trackside, because we're also going out over the PA system here at Oulton Park, and they don't have the luxury of the lovely timing tower on the screen that you can see at home. So it is number 101 Max Hart on pole with a 127.115. That is just over 3/10 quicker than number 117 Adam Shepherd in second. 76 Alex Lee completes that Hyundai 123 in 3rd place, whilst in 4th and in the pits at the moment is championship contender number 123 Isaac Smith. 5th for number 257 Jack Constable. 6th is 22 Chris Smiley. 7th number 17 Brad Hutchison. 8th is number 37 Bruce Winfield. 9th for number 5 Brad Kent. Might have expected a bit more pace from the youngster, with Andy Wilmot into the top 10. Now that is a good effort. Andy Wilmot has been really quietly under the radar going about his business this season, competing in the Goodyear Diamond Trophy for those drivers with a few more years of experience, Paul. And he's getting quicker and quicker all the time, is Andy. He's inside the top 10 here. If he can stay there by the end of the session, he'll be well pleased with that.
Yeah, I'd say so. And there is movement now. It looks like we've got a few people just moving up a few places. Bradley Kent just dropped down to 9th. But yeah, like you say, it's difficult to do a top 10, isn't it, when everyone's changing so much. We're getting like a Christmas tree now, mate. There's greens, personal bests. Everyone's on it.
Because Max Hart is just on a 126, a 126.994 is now the new pole position time. But in the first sector, Bradley Kent is purple. He's going quicker than that. Now, Brad, you spotted, had dropped down a few places. That's because he was briefly in 6th, but then had the lap time deleted for exceeding track limits. So, Bradley Kent back down into 10th place now, but going purple in Sector 1. Callum Newsham goes 3rd. The number 16 Cupra is looking really rapid. We're getting an improvement in Sector 1 for Chris Smiley as well. So things are all going to start chopping and changing. Max Hart's pole position might not be safe.
Yeah, I was just going to say there was something we could have picked up on, but Brad Kent was purple in Sector 1, but he's yellow in Sector 2. He'll be finishing his lap and coming down to the last corner. There he is, coming out of the exit of Druids. Fantastic direction, this. I'm not used to this. It's too professional for my liking. Brad Kent's had a bit of a... it depends how far he is off his Sector 2, but comes out a large... Looks like he's pushing hard still, coming across the strike. Brad's currently 10th. Where's that going to put him? Wow, up to 3rd. What a lap. Great stuff picking him up there at the end.
But then the lap time's deleted again. That's the second lap in a row that he's lost because of track limits. They are monitoring this on the exit of Old Hall, on the exit of Cascades, and possibly on the exit of Lodge Corner. And that's 2 lap times there that would have been good enough for a top 5 or 6 that Brad has lost. So they are costly mistakes to be making in this qualifying session. And of course, Paul, he may now, probably has now, had the best of his tyres, so he's going to struggle to replicate that.
Yeah, that's the problem. You'll get the second or third lap will be it, and then you'll start losing the edge of the tyre because you really push so hard. Even though they're slick tyres, they're very, very difficult to not put too much pressure through them. So yeah, you do have a couple of stabs at it, and then you're kind of chasing your tail. So you can see some greens coming on. This is the view into the braking zone for Druids, which basically isn't a braking zone. It's dab on the brakes, down a gear, send. As you can see there, that's Andy Wilmot, isn't it? And Andy is doing a sterling job. This is green. This is good. Andy Wilmot could find a few tenths here. He could stick it back into the top 10 maybe. Andy Wilmot on the brakes, that's the right way. Use all of that white line on the way in. Does he use too much in the exit? No, I'd say that's perfect. Where's this going to put him as Matt Wilson just jumped into the top 10? Wow, P8, nice. Andy Wilmot, fair play, mate.
Excellent stuff, yeah. So Wilmot into 8th place. That will be by far his best qualifying effort so far this season. And Andy really is becoming a rather good driver as the year goes on. He's getting his head around that Hyundai now. He was saying yesterday it still feels like it's trying to kill him. It's sort of wandering around all over the place. It's really edgy, really twisty. But he's managing to wrestle some good times out of it. So too Jack Constable, who has broken that stranglehold of Hyundais at the front of the field. In fact, he and Callum Newsham have both jumped ahead of Alex Lee now. So Constable is 3rd, Newsham is 4th, and Alex Lee down into 5th position, but improving on this next lap. Max Hart, by the way, has gone quicker again, hasn't he? 126.952. Half a second up the road is the Irishman.
Yeah, he's found a couple of bits and bobs, thousands by the looks of it, because he's just about in the 26, isn't he? But look at this. So what we got, that's Alex Lee has now popped himself into P2 as we look at Constable. Has Constable been compromised? Constable has been massively compromised, hasn't he? And that's Scott Sumton. Oh, what a nightmare. I think he was struggling anyway, to be fair, before he got to Scott at Lodge.
Had done a personal best in Sector 1, Jack, so he will argue that he could have improved, but yeah, you're right, the middle sector wasn't an improvement. Through has just gone Callum Newsham. He stays in 5th position now, of course, with Alex Lee jumping back onto that front row of the grid. And I'll tell you what, Alex Lee continues to be one of the most impressive drivers on the grid. 2nd place on the grid here in that Hyundai, despite the fact that he's had 40 kilos of compensation weight added to that car after his success at Brands Hatch, and it's not slowed him down one bit.
No, not at all, and this is the place where it will slow you down because it's such stop-start, direction change, slow speed. In the high speed, it's just about momentum, but talking about momentum, Jess Hawkins on an absolute flyer by the looks of it. She's green, yellow. She needs to find, it's so close. If she finds 310, she'll look 5, 6 places, 7 places if she's lucky. So Jess coming down, using all of the road on the way into Lodge. Get that apex, not too much. Don't run too wide over the back of the curve. Doesn't look like there was a bit more time left on the table. Jess, are you going to improve? Yes, she does, up to 14, 2 places. Very tight down there, isn't it?
And her teammate, Jamie Tonks, just jumped 6 places. He's got into 7th place now as Jamie in the other area motorsport with Fast R Cooper, the white and gold as opposed to the black and gold. Lots of chopping of positions here going down into Lodge Corner. With 6 3/4 minutes to go, they just want some clean air now, don't they? If they've got any tyre life left at all, they want clean air, and they've probably got 1 or 2 more chances, realistically, to try and improve.
Yeah, definitely. You're always looking... sometimes you're looking for clean air. Sometimes... if you may be in the bottom half of the top 10, you're looking for that faster driver to pull you round. We haven't seen much of Isaac Smith as he comes through our screen into the first corner at Old Hall. He's in 6th. He was fast here last time, really fast on a different circuit configuration. But yeah, there's not much going on. As I say that, Jamie Tonks has gone green in the first sector. He's down at 7th place at the minute, so number 74, Tonks, it's just gone yellow. He'll be coming through. Here he is, perfect again. Apex at Druids, not too much. Missed the apex, the second apex there, but he looks like he's trying hard here. Coming off the back of that curve, swinging right over to the middle of the circuit, which is quite an interesting line. Rear of that car, struggling to slow it down through Lodge, apex, bit too much curb. If I'm thinking that's not really that's not going to get the momentum off. Where does it put him? Has Tonk's gone green? Ah, it's yellow. He's lost a lot of time. I'd say his tyres are now starting to struggle.
Yeah, you could see that a bit there, couldn't you, through the last corner? Felt like he was maybe overdriving a little bit through the last couple of corners. What of Lewis Kent, I hear you ask? Well, actually, what of either Kent? Because they're at the moment 14th and 15th. Brad Kent 14th and Lewis 15th. Now, we know Lewis has been off the road. He's back in the pit lane now, actually, in the Veloster, so we can kind of forgive him being down there. But there must be an issue here with Bradley Kent, because Bradley Kent with a 28.1, a full second and a bit off pole position. That's not where you'd expect Brad. I know he's not having a great year, but he's not got any slower over the off-season. That seems a bit odd to me.
Well, for me, you would go off what the two Hyundais at the front are doing. So, and Brad is always usually the quickest, and that's not the quickest way. That's a lap deleted before it started.
Yeah, that might have exceeded track limits, I reckon. He had just improved to 5th than Isaac Smith, though, the Golf who we were talking about. So Isaac Smith, who was second on the grid here at the start of the year, to this man, Chris Smiley, who flicks the headlights on going into Lodge Corner, which is Universal Racing Driver code for I'm about to start really pushing. Darrell Wilson, meanwhile, might have had a grassy moment at Cascades because he's very slow going into the island hairpin in his green Astra. But yeah, keep an eye to Chris Smiley. He's gone through the first corner, full commitment for the championship contender. And Chris Smiley looking to try and replicate that pole position from Easter weekend earlier this year.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on there, because for me it was an outlap for Chris Smiley, and then hopefully he was gonna start again. So he's come out of Cascades. We'll see the first split as he comes down to the island hairpin. Is it green? It's not by the looks of it. It's yellow, but it's not miles off. But Chris, I mean, he had a walk in the park last time he was here, didn't he? And this now is looking like the balance of performance usually does, makes your life a little bit of a struggle.
Well, indeed, but we do keep comparing him to Isaac Smith, because it seems that whenever one is strong, the other is strong, and yet here Isaac is 5th and Smiley is 8th. There isn't a big difference, though, between their lap times. 27.5 for Smith and 27.7 for Smiley. He's only 2/10 off Isaac, but it's so close, Paul. We've got the top 12 covered by a fraction over a second. I mean, if you're even fractionally off the boil, it's going to cost you 2 or 3 rows on the grid.
Yeah, we've seen that, haven't we? As we back on with Chris, that right rear is not disconnecting itself from the tarmac as it was before. Really bright lights on that Honda Civic. Come down to the last corner, Lodge. So what is it going to be for Chris? Because he won't accept where he is. It's yellow, yellow. Third sector as he comes across the line. Is it going to be an improvement? No, it's not, and he stays 8th. And for me now, he's got to start thinking, if I can get a few places up the road in the first race, and then I need a reverse grid and I need to win the next, because he has not got the speed to win this race outright in the first race.
And that's where that reverse grid can save your weekend, because it's the top 10 finishers from race 1 which get reversed. So if you realise, okay, I don't have the pace to race my way into the podium places, maybe just chill out in 6th or 7th place or so, and that could really benefit you for the second race. Now, some improvements in sectors coming in, and this man we're seeing on the screen is one of them, Isaac Smith, 5th at the moment. He needs to find just under 0.6 of a second to challenge from pole, but he's got personal best in sector 1, personal best in sector 2 as well, and the number 1, 2, 3 Golf comes down into Lodge Corner. This looks quick.
P2 I'm going to go for here. Am I right? He took a bit of curb there. He's knocked the momentum out the car. What is it going to be? Smith's 5th. Where does he go? Oh my word, he had an awful last sector. I don't know whether it was Druids or whether it was the last corner. Is that Jess Hawkins slowing?
I think she's gone round onto the international circuit there, so she's possibly overshot at the island hairpin. Meanwhile, what's Chris Smiley getting up to, Paul?
He's got the last sector to do, so he's yellow, unfortunately, so he's not any faster in the second sector. But coming down to Lodge, he needs now, if he finds a couple of tenths, that's going to stick him up into that top 4 position. So Smiley across the strike, where's it going to be? He'll know his delta. He's 6th. He's not that far off, actually, being P2.
I mean, that is insanely close. You've got Adam Shepherd in 3rd. He's 58 thousandths quicker than Constable 4th. He's 6 thousandths from Smith. 35,000 on Smiley, 63,000. I mean, they're all separated by less than a tenth there from third all the way back towards the rear end of the top 10. It is incredibly tight. Chris Smiley does manage to get himself onto the outside of row number 3 and again proves to be inseparable from Isaac Smith, who currently would be lining up in 5th place. Brad Kent, meanwhile, down through the Hislop chicane. No improvements in the sectors yet for Brad. 13th place for him and 15th now for his brother Lewis because they've been separated by Jess Hawkins before she had that little off track at Island Bend. Jess has got going there. You can see her there just ahead of one of the Coopers there, Neil Trotter I think that was, going into Druids Corner. But yeah, session to forget here for Essex and Kent Motorsport because they don't have a car inside the top dozen.
I can't remember when we last seen that. I cannot remember. That's terrible news, isn't it? So I'm sure they'll get that sorted out. Proper team, run by proper people, so we'll see how they get on. But I think that's got to be it now. There's no way. People are still pushing, and they'll see Delta on their dashboard at the time, whether they're underneath, if they're minus, or if they're plus, so they know if they're going slower or faster. And I'm going to leave you to it, Andy, because I think people are starting to stop and give up now. I'm going to go and see who the pole man is, or the pole lady, and I'm going to go and have a gander down there, so see you in a bit. Yeah, excellent stuff, Paula. Yeah, as close as it is out there, I've got a reasonable idea of who you're going to be talking to in a few minutes, because Max Hart is in the pit lane. He is 4.5 tenths quicker than anybody else, and the checkered flag is now out. So the session is over. Those who are on a lap are still free to complete it, but we're not seeing any improvements in sectors coming in at the moment. So Max Hart, not just with a pole position, but a crushing pole position. Bear in mind that he qualified here last year on the Island Circuit at Oulton Park in third with a 1 minute 28.1. He has gone 1.3 seconds quicker than that this year to go on pole position. So the whole field going significantly faster than they were 12 months ago. But Max Hart is going quicker than anybody else is today as well by nearly half a second. That is pretty much unheard of, given the fact that the next 8 positions, there is no place within second back to 9th covered by more than a tenth of a second. It is incredibly tight through the rest of the pack. Max Hart, though, in a class of his own so far this weekend, more than making up for the slightly disastrous day yesterday where he only got 8 laps of practice in, which was 7 more laps than he got at Brands Hatch last time out, admittedly, but he didn't need the practice. Clearly, he knew he was quick, and they've got that gearbox sorted now, and he is going to be on pole position, I'm sure. We're just waiting for the last couple to come through before we can confirm the result, but it does look as though number 101, Max Hart, the championship leader, is going to take the pole position now, and with it, another 6 championship points. It will actually be his first pole position from a qualifying session, at least, of the season so far. Alex Lee then is second quickest. 5 championship points go his way. Adam Shepherd will be third. Another good effort there from Adam to take 4 championship points for qualifying third. Then it's Jack Constable in 4th position. Jack Constable moving into the top 6 in the championship after his win last time at Brands Hatch. Isaac Smith then is 5th fastest, the man second in the points at the moment. And the final qualifying point will go to Chris Smiley. So again, it's Lewis Kent who's the odd one out there, the only one really of the championship frontrunners not to be scoring points in that qualifying session. So the checkered flag out then. Everyone has now seen that checkered flag by the looks of it. And so that is qualifying done with here then for TCR UK at Oulton Park. And it is going to be car number 101, Max Hart, who in the 8th round of the championship will start from the pole position, extending ever so slightly his championship margin as he does that. Number 76, Alex Lee, is second, 4.5 tenths slower. That's still blink of the eye stuff, I realise, but in racing terms and as competitive as this grid has been this year, that's an absolute age. It's number 117, Adam Shepherd, in 3rd place. 4th, number 257, Jack Constable. 5th is number 123, Isaac Smith. And the last of the points in qualifying goes to number 22, Chris Smiley. Callum Newsham was 7th, Jamie Tonks was 8th, Andy Wilmot in 9th, and Brad Hutchison rounding out the top 10 in the Audi. Bruce Winfield 11th, Matt Wilson in the new Cupra is 12th, Brad Kent 13th. Need to get to the bottom of what the issue was for him in that session. Then Jess Hawkins in 14th. Lewis Kent, we know what the issue was for him. An off-track excursion for the double reigning champion means he will be starting down in 15th place. Definitely one to watch for in the race. And War Neil Subaru is 16th. Darrell Wilson's Astra is 17th. Then it was Neil Trotter and Scott Sumpton to round out the 19 runners. So qualifying done then here at Oulton Park. They will be racing, of course, for TCR UK drivers a little bit later on today. We've got 4 races in total coming to you here from Oulton. 2 for the Miltech Sports Civic Cup. They'll be out at 12:35 for their first race, and an hour later it will be the turn of the TCR drivers, so that will be their first race of the weekend, coming up at just after 1:30 here at Oulton.
And then we do it all again in the afternoon, 3:30 for the Miltech Sports Civic Cup second race, and then the TCR UK drivers out for the 9th round of their championship at 4:30. Of course, from Oulton Park, we then head to Castle Combe in the first weekend of August for the next 2 races of the championship. Then we head over to Donington Park on the national circuit, the second visit to Donington this season, before the Snetterton 300 circuit will host our championship decider later on in the year. It looks as though Max Hart is definitely going to be one of the drivers in contention for the championship when we get to Snetterton. He is the pole sitter provisionally here at Oulton Park, and he is now catching up with Paul O'Neill.
Right, well, I am going to assume that we're live, and we are, because I've just had the thumbs up. Max Hart, there's a couple of things I want to say. 1, well done, that was amazing, but 2, I think you're going to be in trouble, mate, because you're superhuman. That was like the best lap, I think, probably you've ever done. Half a second, 4 tenths. Everyone else is scrapping for tenths, but what a lap. You hooked up, mate.
Yeah, like it's really odd to the Jam Sport lads. We had loads of problems yesterday. The car wouldn't select 4th gear, so when we wanted to grab 4th gear, it would go to get 4th gear, but it wouldn't grab it. So we only done like 8 laps yesterday, but I love this place. You know, it's where I first raced in the UK, and I've always loved it. I like how fast it is, how little room for error it is, and I think it really suits me. The car is just brilliant. I feel like I'm with the car, and everything's just going into motion. And yeah, it was a good lap.
Did you know it was going to be the case? Because I know Andy spoke to you yesterday, and he said you're down in the dumps, you can't get that gear, and maybe you didn't really show your true pace because of that. I know the Jam Sport guys have worked flat out to get that sorted. But yeah, did you know that was going to happen? And what makes a good lap here for Oulton?
Definitely no track limits. So if you get a track limit, that's not good. But I think to get the perfect lap, like everything has to be in motion. You've got to be right on the edge here. You don't have much track anyway, so you've got to use it all. Just make sure you're braking as late as you can, but making sure you're maximising your exits. These cars, you have to be really patient with them. Although you can be quite aggressive, it's important to be patient with them, and I think that makes a really good lap around here.
Yeah. Top man, well, you did a mega lap, mate. Yeah. Can I ask what's going to happen in this race? Because you got some quick boys behind you, but people probably that you're not fighting for the championship with. So you've got Lee and you've got Chequered. They're not going to hang about, and they're going to give you a hard time, I would think.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I think I have the pace, and there's definitely a little bit more on that lap. So I'm hoping if I can get this thing off the line, because I've been struggling with that a little bit, that I'll be able to hopefully walk into the distance.
Gives a smile. Nice one. Right, well done, mate. Let you crack on. Well done to you and the team. Wicked. Right, back to you, Andy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. Great to hear from a confident Max Hart there, ahead of the first race for TCR UK coming up later on. That's it then for qualifying here at Oulton Park. We'll be back with the first TCR UK race later on. The next on-track racing action is the Miltech Sports Civic Cup at 12:50. We'll see you then. The track, O'Neill's having absolutely none of it. Up Chris Smiley's Honda, and off goes the championship leader. Big drama for Smiley. Shepherd hanging on to the lead, but only just. The Audi loses one place, but tries to fight back as Constable's there as well. 3 wide, contact made. How they save that, I will never know.